Good morning. It was Wednesday, February 25th. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We have some cool things to talk about. Last night was the State of the Union. That was a interesting speech. It was the longest State of the Union that I have ever seen. Did you see the hockey? The U.S. men's U.S. hockey team that won gold? That was the highlight for me. That really was. That was patriotism. It was sportsmanship, and holy moly, that goalie. Trump says he is going to award him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I think that's amazing. So it's no surprise here on Fox News, Trump's hockey team surprise sends independent voter approval soaring. You know, if there's a couple things that probably transcend all barriers, all political barriers, it's going to be when your team wins in sports and food. So, I wish we had more of that in our divided political landscape. We need some feel-good, patriotic, wave the flag moments. It's the 250th anniversary of our nation as well. What a way to go out. What a way to celebrate your win by being at the State of the Union and earning the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That is amazing. Let's see what else we've got here. We're gonna jump over to CNN since this is State of the Union. We want to see what everybody else is talking about too. But let's get through some of these things here. One big winner, one giant loser, and one big problem after Trump's State of the Union. These are opinion pieces. Let's see what this guy's talking about. He's on the front page of Fox News. President emphasized economic empowerment and affordability on Tuesday night while he set a populist campaign agenda against Democratic opposition. Well, if this is about affordability, affordability is going to get tough. It is probably going to get tougher before it gets easier. He achieved a number of important goals. He did. He was on an all-out blitz, an all-out sprint in that first year. First and most important message was the American people should associate the progress, future, and success of the country with the Trump administration and the Republican Party. I would say so. I would agree with that. We should associate the success and the progress in the future with Trump and the Republican Party. Now, the question is whether or not you agree with that direction for the country. I know right now ICE and immigration is being made a front and center topic, but he is doing a great job this term on keeping the Republicans from fracturing. I think that has a great deal to do with Mike Johnson in the House. He's a great supporter of the president, and he's doing a good job communicating with the representatives in the House. The other thing, this is coming up on an election year. You know, he made it through all the flack that he did and could have received during 2025. Now we're back into an election year. This is the funny thing is we have so many elections in this country. It's hard to not be in an election year. Let's see. President Trump made it clear that his Republican Party had policies on health care, retirement, prices, and most of all taxes that he argued would benefit the American people in ways few have articulated. Well, I'll tell you what, when you see the amount of fraud, waste, and abuse, which there's going to be people on CNN that are going to argue, well, it's not that much compared to our total national budget or deficit. You know, annually, we're looking $500 billion in fraud, waste, and abuse. We've got a trillion and change, I think $1.3 trillion deficit. That's a significant piece of the deficit. It's hard enough. Imagine a checkbook. If you're at home and you're running paycheck to paycheck, and you're burning through your savings because you're spending more money than you receive. Imagine if that difference, like if you're $1,300 short each month, what would you think if $500 to $600 of that was just someone ripping you off? And that's, this is one of those things where you can't split hairs, and a lot of people on the left want to split hairs on some of these things. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's a drop in the bucket. Well, no, it's not actually. And not only that, it encourages that continued behavior of fraud, waste, and abuse. And then we got to spend this is the $500 billion that we spend on fraud. That's just the payments. We're expected to go out and enforce the rules and catch those people. It's an entirely waste of money and time in the system. It really is. Yeah. If you're $1,300 short on your monthly budget, and $600 is you just getting ripped off. Yeah, stop the leak. Plug that leak, and then also at the same time you have to fix your spending. I would love for President Trump to find a way to reduce the actual spending in this country. I would love that. There's not a lot of ways to do that without stepping on some very controversial political programs. And we're talking welfare programs, disaster programs, foreign aid. But back to taxes. I think that's the train of thought I was on here a second ago. Back to taxes. When I learned that $80 million a week is being paid to the Taliban from the United States, when I learn things like that, it doesn't make me want to pay my taxes. It really doesn't. Whatever the priorities are at our federal, state, and local government levels, when I pay my taxes, I have to see that it goes to something positive, that it goes to something for the benefit of our communities and our future. If not, I am a better steward of my own money than the federal government or the state government or the local government. And by golly, there is no incentive for me to want to pay my taxes. And Americans will put a lot of work into things when they believe in it. Well, if the programs that are costing me 30% of my income, and it really is, it's probably more, closer to 34%. The programs that are costing 34% of my income, when you don't believe in those anymore, you will find a way to get that money back or not have it paid out. Americans are very, very creative, and we need to believe in this country. The solution is not to just have everybody not pay taxes. The solution is to foster a system in which there's trust that things are being done for the public good and the prosperity of the country. And I don't know that anybody on the left or the right believes that is happening. So why pay taxes? This is funny. Al Green, he ought to just get his own TV show and be done with it. He got ejected for the second year in a row. I don't think I've read or heard anything about Al Green since last State of the Union. I don't know how this guy thinks he's still relevant. Back to Americans will put time and effort into things that they believe in. I hope people like Al Green find better things to put their efforts into. I really do. Let's see here. There's a picture of the U.S. hockey team. An amazing performance and an amazing performance by that goalkeeper. Let's see. Let's jump back and see what the other headlines here are. Trump called out Pelosi by name on key issue that earned bipartisan applause. If you've been in the political sphere, you can hear, or you can probably guess what that is. That is stock trading, and she's the poster child for insider congressional stock trading. Now, supposedly, she was applauding this when Trump was talking about it, because he talked about this issue. Hey, we're reforming the congressional stock trading rules. And she was this is funny. She was applauding at least a little bit until he called her out by name, and then she stopped applauding, which I would probably do the same. But that is just the nature of Trump going off teleprompter. NFL reporter upset with Mamdani's response to snowball attack on officers. Wow, there's so many things going on there. NFL reporter, Mamdani, snowballs, officers. I'll let you read that one, folks. We're going to skip that. Let's see here. Masked agitators. Yep. CNN analyst. That's a mouthful. CNN analyst appears to trivialize ceremony for Americans killed by illegals. Well, I love it when you write articles about other people that wrote articles. All right. Let's jump on over. Those are the headlines. Let's jump on over to CNN. Let's see what they think of the day. Let's see. In Democratic response, Spanberger paints Trump as working for himself, not working for you. Well, guys, this is a tough thing. Trump has been polarizing since he first ran for election in his first term. But if you're devoid of moral direction, you can't just look at everything he's doing. If you are devoid of moral direction, I guess you can look at everything he's doing and just decide that he's working just for himself. The man is aging. He knows he is on limited time, and I can't imagine. There's not a lot of time left for Trump. There really isn't. In the term, in his age, and his own health. That's why he is on a sprint. That's why he is trying so hard to correct some of the things that have just been chipped away at in this country for the last 20 years, 25 years, really. I would say since we go back to 9/11, there's been so many things that have just been chipped away at in this country. So he's on a sprint. He's got to reverse some of the stuff. He has to help fix this nation. And you can't just say he's working for himself. He's not going to benefit from the wave of change that's coming. He's not. He's looking at his sons and his daughters. He's looking at the people that he cares about, and he truly is an American president first. I really do believe he loves this country, and he loves the values of this country, and he's a very patriotic president. If you can't at least see that, regardless, and that's not even getting into specific topics and issues and specific ideas. You have to weigh it all individually, case by case. But you can't deny he is a patriotic president. Let's see. President was on defense on multiple fronts as polls suggest a serious dip in his approval ratings. Well, when you have half the country, now really this is like a 50-50 split. when you have half the country that leans more left and half the country that leans more right, depending on how you run your polls, yeah, you could show some terrible, terrible approval ratings. And that's nothing to do with, well, I take that back. It has everything to do with what the president does, but it also has everything to do with who you're asking about it. I think 2025 was the most successful presidential years ever, as far as keeping campaign promises and doing what you say you're going to do. There's some issues that I wish would just go away because it's a distraction. Epstein is one of them. When it comes to prosperity in this country, Trump is very, very adamant. He wants to bring wealth and prosperity to our future generations. Excuse me. Now, that's hard. That is hard, and that means there is a lot of work to do. And that means we have to bite the bullet on some feel-good policies, put in the work, put in the framework, and allow the plan to take root. So that our next generations can have prosperity. Otherwise, the path we've been on is the future generations will all just be on welfare. And that is the most depressing future I could think of for everyone. It's dystopic. It's totalitarian. He wants freedom. And that's always harder. And I understand why half the country doesn't want that. They want someone to take care of them. The other half of the country just doesn't want to be the ones to take care of that half. Everybody needs to. You need opportunity in this country, and you need to put the work in. So things are going to get a little bit worse before they get better. We have to start when you start paying your bills. You run out of money. That it's always fun in games when you when you're just on a spending spree and you're not actually paying your bills. But when you stop spending money and stop getting stuff, and you're living paycheck to paycheck, and it's time gets harder. That's what this economy is going through right now. There's so many different ways we can look at it. We could look at it through immigration. We could look at it through supply chain economics. We could look at it through tariffs and global trade imbalances. We could look at it through a lot of different lenses. What the president needs to do is do the things that directly affect the American consumer and the American taxpayer. If he can focus on that, he will win. He will win the war on the economy. If he gets caught up in some of these 30,000 foot view disputes and nothing ever trickles down to the actual taxpayer, that's what's going to lose the next elections. Let's see here. How Trump's address resonated with a heavy Republican audience. Well, we know it was positive. Trump makes false claims about economy, elections, and crime. Let's look at the fact check here. Let's see what they've got for us, folks. We're 19 minutes in. We've got 11 minutes to go. Let's see. President Donald Trump made numerous false or misleading claims. Well, let's see what those are. Many of them long debunked falsehoods. Okay. The subject on which he was most frequently inaccurate was the economy. Let's get into something specific. Trump repeated his regular false claim that he has secured $18 trillion in investments in the U.S. since returning to office. Okay, well, how is that wrong? Let's see here. This fact check says 18 trillion figure is fiction. As of the night of Trump's address, his own website said figure for major investment announcements during his term was 9.7 trillion. And even that is a major exaggeration. Something in October found he was counting trillions of dollars in vague investment pledges that were about bilateral trade or economic exchange rather than investment in the U.S. and vague statements. Well, so he's got at least 9.7 trillion. Somehow he's coming up with 18 trillion. You know something? So the fact check is it's very, very positive. It's just not as positive as Donald Trump claimed it to be. That was a waste of ink right there. If I even had the inclination of going back through the false claims from the Democratic left over the term of President Biden's presidency, holy moly, we could write a book about. That's the thing with spinning the issue. It just depends on which side of the aisle you're on. Let's see, gas prices. Yeah, this was a little bit of a stretch. There's not a lot of gas prices that are down around $2 a gallon. And now the fact check here is the average national average on his inauguration day was $3.12, and now it's down to $2.95. That's a positive. I would like it to be down to around $1.95. That will come. I believe that will come. Let's see. Trump falsely claims he inherited record inflation. I think we're just splitting hairs now. Yeah, back to how these economists calculate the inflation and what time period you look at. I don't recall Biden's presidency as a time of economic prosperity, and I just saw everything just fizzle out. So that's just one metric. Let's see what else. Trump falsely claims foreign countries are paying for his tariffs. That's a good point. There is a good point here. When you order something made in another country, they charge you for it and they ship it to you, and then when it gets here to this country and it sits in customs, you get a bill from the customs department that says, "Hey, you got to pay the tariff, or we're not releasing it." That gets paid by the person ordering it. The manufacturer on the other side of the ocean, they're like, you're on your own. So yeah, that's the funny thing, folks. Tariffs are paid by the purchaser. We are a consumer nation. What it does is it says, hey, this is more expensive. Why are you buying it overseas? Buy it in the U.S. or buy it from a country that plays ball and has lower tariffs. That's the way you should do it. Problem is, we've had it good for so long. We've been flooded with such inexpensive and often inferior product from other countries for so long. We're just kind of we're in the age of the Amazon. Just buy it and it shows up to your door, and it's convenience. We really don't have the infrastructure for U.S. made market, and it's unfortunate. But here's the thing: when you run out of money, you're gonna shop, and what this is forcing is not so much the consumer, but the manufacturers, the resellers, the wholesalers. They have to shop. It's a war on the supply chain, and it takes time. It's not instant because the replacement, the infrastructure for your replacement products just isn't there. Well, it takes time, and that's part of the pain of being a responsible steward of your nation. Trump's claim that more Americans are working today than ever. What's wrong with that? Let's see here. The unemployment population ratio measures the percentage of population that is employed. Is down slightly this presidential term. Excuse me. Going from 60.1% in January 2025. The month Trump returned to office to 59.8%. All right. The unemployment rate, which measures unemployment as a percentage of the labor force, has increased, going from 4% to 4.3%. Interesting. Well, does this have anything to do with some of our fraud, waste, and abuse? I can think of some Minnesota daycares. I can think of some construction workers. I can think of a lot of these sanctuary states and cities around the country that maybe gamed the system, and we crack down on it. If you're not going out, that's the thing about the unemployment ratio. It just tracks jobs. It doesn't track who's in those jobs. It doesn't track how many of those are American versus illegal immigrant. So if you crack down on stuff, if people stop showing up to work, if people are posting jobs out there because they're now unfilled by the million or so people that have been deported in the year in 2025. Well, yeah, that's going to affect your unemployment rate. But that's not really Trump's claim here, and this is kind of a bait and switch. Trump's claim that more Americans are working today than ever. Yeah, I would say that's true. More Americans are working today than ever. And part of that's the fraud, waste, and abuse, and part of that is the immigration issue. When you cut people's welfare off, they go get a job. When you deport 8,000 people in Milwaukee area alone, that leaves a void in your labor force. But now, instead of having undocumented and illegal workers filling these labor gaps, now Americans can fill those labor gaps. And yeah, it's hard. Maybe you didn't wake up and dream of yourself being a roofer or working on a concrete or cement crew, but hey, do what you got to do. Trump's claim he passed largest tax cuts in American history. Well, was it the largest? Let's see here. Tax cuts amount to $4.8 trillion. It's not the largest, they say. Let's see. Largest. What was the largest? Was Reagan's 1981. Oh, they're just measuring it by GDP over 4 years. 2.9% versus Trump's 1.3%. You know what? You want to look at the GDP of 2025 versus 1981. This is kind of splitting hairs here. Come on, CNN. All right. Well, let's see what else they've got on the headlines here. We are 28 minutes in. We got a sprint here if we want to get through everything. More Epstein fallout. Oh, there's lots going on. Okay, let's jump over. Let's skip NBC. Let's jump on over to Idaho Statesman. They need more library in the area over there in Meridian. That's cool. Library desert. Do people still read books? That's the thing. Is I am hopeful for libraries, and I think it's a great public good. But in the day of electronic media and do we need more libraries? I feel like libraries should be like a Costco. It's a destination location. You don't need one on every corner. You just need one in a populated area. Let's see here. Oh, it's West Boise, not Meridian. Hey, just raise your taxes. That'll work. Let's see here. Boise put on the map with $1 million win for unique geothermal project. We have such great resources in this state. I wish we would tap them all in a good way. Let's see here. Anything else? Boise police arrested protester outside of Donald Trump Jr. event. Well, all right. Looks like those are the no kings people. Doesn't even make sense. Let's see. Boise woman arrested in attack on Meridian building building with space for ice. It's amazing. Just I don't think I'll ever get over ice being in common sentences. It just makes me think of like ice cubes and the way they word it, building with space for ice. It just doesn't even make sense. They could have written a way better headline. Looks like that was a woman that may have stole the ambulance and ran it through the front of that building. Well, I wonder if she is actually a woman. Let's see here. What else we got? There's just not a lot going on, folks. I think we're going to dive into the Idaho legislature tomorrow and get you some updates on that. Let's see. Channel 2, Boise News. Oh, my gosh. It's the Lorax. Idaho reps under fire for allowing overtly racist action in committee hearing. I don't know what this is. I don't know. What is it? Is it an actual black guy? A man named David Pettinger stood before the committee to testify about a bill to enact E-Verify. According to a statement released by a coalition led by the ACLU, Pettinger was dressed in brownface, pretending not to speak English, and brought a translator in a clear, obscene mockery of Latinos in Idaho. The coalition is calling out the committee for allowing Pettinger, a man they said had been arrested for staging protests with alarming antics. Well, what is he? Is he not? See, this is the funny thing. It's a double-edged sword. You get someone that does some kind of, his hand is white, but his face is brown. You get someone that does a ridiculous display, and you say you're being racist against Hispanics or Mexicans. Well, are we saying that's a portrayal of Mexicans? It's obviously not. That does not look like any Mexican that I have ever seen. It looks like something out of a cartoon, and yeah, that may be part of the offense, but it's so ridiculous and over the top. I wouldn't even say he portrayed any Latinos correctly. It's the issue is going to be this instead of the actual issue of E-Verify. That is amazing. Only in Idaho or Florida. That is what we see. Only Idaho or Florida have such colorful rednecks. Let's see here. Idaho Governor Brad Little files for re-election, will face GOP primary May 19th. Well, there you go, folks. He is running again, and if you don't like that and you're a Democrat, well, too bad. If you don't like it and you're a Republican, well, you should have done something about it, and you should have got a succession plan going. Trump says economy is roaring and record length State of the Union. We just went over that. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of State of the Union. Tomorrow morning we will dive into the legislature. I think that's going to be the hot topics for Idaho. Right now the news is all about a lot of the national stuff, and you're probably getting enough commentary on that. Okay. All right, folks. We will see you tomorrow morning. Have a fabulous day. Work hard and go earn some wealth and prosperity. Have a good day.